Yeah, so we were wondering whether she has any concrete ideas of how to deal with it. Do we need separate laws? Do we need separate courts? Do we need separate islands where you banish all these people and then, just leave them there and just leave them with fresh water and a few fishing hooks and say, now you live your terrorist life out there. Is there anything more that we need to do? Or should we need to shoot them, kill them, and show them the same, minimum, what do they say, mercy as they show other people? So, what do you think is the way to handle a terrorist when you catch him?
Post the Bombay carnage,
Yes.
this new terrorist law was rushed through. In fact, it's strange because about 3 or 4 months before that, I wrote a piece called "Why We Need a New Law to Tackle Terrorism," and in which I had written very strongly that the criminal laws of the system of our country, is not. It's not that it's insufficient, but I personally am of the opinion that we should have a separate set of laws to deal exclusively, not only at national level, but at regional level and international level.
Okay.
And the idea behind this is we have to separate acts of terrorism from acts of crime.
Yes.
Because it's time we separated it, we clarified what it is, and we take it from there. So as I was
concerted action by the whole world.
Yes. As I was saying, we did rush. We didn't actually have a new law, but we rushed an amendment of an existing law.
Why do you say rushed?
Because it went through the parliament like a knife through butter. No, neither the opposition.
They slept their way through it, as they say.
No. It went through so fast because everybody wanted it.
Okay, they were all in agreement.
Yes, and it had certain good provisions. But as a lawyer, my problem was that there were certain things which did not fit into the ambit of the rule of law. Now, what I mean by that is, if you remember the whole issue, wherever I went in talk shows, seminars and workshops and talking to students or talking to people, the one question I always had to face was, why are we not hanging Kasab? We've got video evidence, we've got everything.
Yes.
And I had to convince them that the reason we don't do that is because we have to follow the rule of law. We have a legal system and we have to go through the trial. We have to do it, even if ultimately
we know he's guilty, we've got evidence, but still
we have to do that
because to be dispensing justice.
No, because we cannot we cannot do away with the rule of law, because that is the system in this country.
Okay.
That is the system we follow. Every man has a right to defend himself. So we had to give him that opportunity and we had to take it to its conclusion. Now, if we're going to do that, my opinion at least is that we to make that happen faster, so that you see the common man sees quicker justice being meted out.
Closure on this.
Yes,
whatever.
it makes more sense to have exclusive laws to deal with terrorists, but not just laws. We need a system by which we can ensure that they are not clubbed together with common criminals.
Okay.
And this has to be done at an international level. So what we need is an international convention which binds state parties to do action in a particular way.
So you don't pass your own set of laws. They all get together, pass the same laws.
Yes. Another thing that is something that I would really like to see happen is like in the case of pirates. Now, after a spate of piracy in them days, which is of course making a comeback now, as you know, for different reasons, but we won't go there.
The Somali area and all that.
Yeah, but we won't go there because that's not terrorism. Piracy is not terrorism. That is motivated only by money.
Yes.
So when we talk about piracy, at that point of time, under international law, piracy was called, a pirate was called enemy of all mankind. So any state could pick up a pirate and bring him to trial.
That was a British concept of piracy?
International concept.
Yeah.
It came
because when they were seized ships, they were seizing goods, and that's what probably made them declare them as enemy of the state.
Yes.
Not that the people who were being killed, that you're seizing
enemy
goods.
of all mankind.
Of mankind.
Yes.
So
because
trade was vital.
Trade was vital. So and it still is.
So they put it down firmly. So that was it.
So that was it. So to me, terrorists are also enemies of all mankind, because when they I mean, if they blow up an airport, let us say in any country, in a European country, it's not just Europeans who are dying. If they have a problem with let's say a particular country like Israel, it's not just the Israelis who are dying. You and I could be on that flight and victims of it too.
Next to that same aircraft. And,
yes, exactly. So they should be, first of all.
So your thing is there should be a full so-called ecosystem which deals with this.
Yes,
all parts of terrorism.
The international community has to take this on as first that they're enemies of all mankind. Secondly, an international convention which deals very clearly. Now, I do have a lot of skeptics being somebody in international law. People say, oh, international law, but then, it doesn't work. My argument to that, somebody will say, yeah, you can have an international convention on terrorism, but how is that going to help? People will still get away, nations still will not. But my argument is, unless you have that, how do you identify those who are not?
Place to start. Yeah.
How do you deal with those who are not falling in line?
Okay.
Like you have International Convention on Maritime, you have International Convention on hostage taking, you have International Convention on civil.
You got all sorts of areas.
Yes, but the states that don't fall into line can be identified. Then it is easier. But once the majority of the world community accepts something, it's that much easier.
That's true.
Yes.
So we are coming down to the end of this. I wish we could talk forever. This is a subject that all of us would like to get involved in talking. The last bit, which always I thought was something that we ought to think about, is one thing that the lawyers, the courts, the governments, the army, the military, they all do. What is it that average citizens can do?